uncharted territory for the Saints here as they are starting a rookie quarterback, something that has only been done a couple of times. You can count on your fingers how many times that's been done for the Saints. So a lot of questions on if Rattler will lead the Saints to a W, but nonetheless, we got it, people. A lot of folks wanted this before the season even started. Derek Carr had a heck of a 2 games, even some really good plays throughout the rest of the weeks. Struggled with some offensive line issues. Taysom Hill goes down. Eric McCoy goes down. You're playing your third center in 4 weeks, at some point or another. So I don't know if Rattler's stepping into a position of a lot of success, but we'll see what he can do. We'll see how crafty he is. We'll see um, how much he gets rattled. Will Rattler get rattled? I hope at the end of the game we're saying you can't rattle the Rattler. Hopefully that's what we're saying. We'll see though. Um, but yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Like I said, you can count on your hands how many times this has happened in Saints history. Not a lot of rookie starts over the course of the franchise, 50, 60 some odd years since um, the 60s when they were formed, but it's going to be interesting. So, Saints are going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at noon today, along with the Falcons facing the Panthers at 3:25. So, again, two interdivisional, games here. We'll see what the NFC South looks like all over again whenever we get through this noon and afternoon game. But um, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, they're actually pretty well down in the dumps. I think they're bottom 4 or 5 for defense. So that's a positive, all things considered. Whenever you think about the rookie QB starting, so it's going to be interesting to see what he does with that. Like I said, the Saints haven't done this often, so we'll be really really intrigued to see how the rookie does. Considering everything that's been going on. So that should be fun either way. Like I said, the Buccaneers defense is bottom of the league. Saints defense is pretty middle of the pack. I think our numbers took a little bit of a hit with that game last week, but when you're on the field for as long as the Saints were, um, you're just not going to look good. You're tired, your hands are on your hip. The only guy out there with any energy was Kalen Saunders, as we know. Big man picked that ball off and win 30 yards and needed oxygen right away. So hopefully he shows up again. Hopefully we see some of the Banks package. I don't know if it was middle last year or whatever it may be, but we saw some instances where they put big Kalen Saunders in there and ran it right up the middle for a fullback play essentially for Kalen Saunders. I understand we have a fullback now, but have a little fun with it, mix it up, maybe get the big man a touchdown. That'll be fun to see. If you're a betting man, I wouldn't bet on it, but if you could, I don't even know if he'll be on there, but yeah, so that's going to be fun to see. Like I said, Saints defense about middle of the pack. Buccaneers defense is right around the bottom of the barrel there. So that'll be interesting to see how the rookie does against that defense. But as far as offense goes, they're again, the Saints really hasn't been too much going on last 2 weeks for offense. It's been really stagnant, really, really slow. Whereas the Buccaneers defense, at one point it felt like the Saints were going to run away with it. We had a bunch of touchdowns in the first 2 weeks, and since then, I don't know. I think we've had one touchdown a game. So we went from having one of the better touchdowns and passing yards and all these things that efficiency were off the charts to being very middle of the league. Buccaneers, on the other hand, they're I think tied or possibly in second place for touchdowns scored. They've only turned the ball over, I think, less than 5 times. Let's see here. We have 2 interceptions. For some odd reason, this doesn't say fumbles. But yeah, nonetheless, like I said, the Buccaneers have 14 total touchdowns, which is again middle of the pack like the Saints. The Saints haven't really scored much since those first couple of games, so it's really tough to get a gauge on the Saints offense going into this game, and it'll be really interesting to see what they do. But we'll kind of hop into the injury report here. As we know, it feels like the Saints have more guys on the injury report than most folks, most teams. However, this week it's a little easy. I'm not going to read all these names because there's a lot. I'm just going to read the ones that I feel are probably important and probably to look out for. But Taysom Hill is out. Cesar Ruiz is out. Um, Derek Carr, as we know, is out. Will Harris, and Pete Warner both out. So we got five guys. Like I said, I'm only going to read the names that are really questionable or we were kind of coming in wondering for the injury report there. But as far as that goes, the other big name I think there is Kendre Miller. With Alvin Kamara, fractured hand, fractured rib, playing through everything, trying to earn that contract. Um, he's playing through it all. But Kendre Miller's back. We'll see how long that lasts, and hopefully Dennis Allen can start talking good about him again because the rookie, whatever you want to call him at this point, like I said, he's played less games than maybe rookies this year. It feels like it's going to be interesting to see how much play he gets, how much trust he gets, and everything like that. Um, I think it's going to be. I hope it's going to be a good game for him. I really do hope he figures something out. On the other side of the ball, the Buccaneers center Graham Barton is out. Ernest Brown, defensive end, is out. Cameron Johnson out for wide receiver. Trey Palmer, also wide receiver, out. So they got a lot of things going on over there as well. They did gain a couple of starters back this week, I do believe, one or two. So, definitely trending downward for both of these teams in terms of how many guys are out. But hopefully that definitely turns the other direction. So, keys to the game for the offense is just get Spencer comfortable, right? That's the biggest thing. Get him some tight end action, get him some easy throws out of the backfield, maybe, and just get him rolling. You have probably a more complex offense than you'd want to feed a lot of rookies, with our offense right now. So hopefully they bring that down a notch and just make it a little bit easier for him to start. Get him in a groove before you just throw him to the wolves. As we know, the Saints do like to throw the ball downfield this year, so that's going to be interesting to see how Spencer does with that. But again, I'd like to see for keys to the game when the offense is just get him comfortable, right? He's a rookie. I think he's a pretty cool character, so I don't foresee him really getting rattled again, but yeah, just get him comfortable, get him in a groove, let him do his thing, and really just let Spencer be Spencer. He's got a winning pedigree. He knows how to play quarterback, so I think you just need to kind of play an offense towards him. You had a week to do it, so it's going to be interesting to see what they did with that week and to see how they do. But yeah, like I said, key to the game on the offensive ball, just get Spencer comfortable. That's number one. That's, obviously you got to protect him and everything else like that. But number one is get Spencer comfortable. Defense, key to the game. Again, I feel like I've said this every week, but we need to get to the quarterback. Our defense is there constantly, but we're just not getting to him. You have to get to Baker early. He is a guy that can use his feet, kind of like Jake Haener last week, where he rolled out a little bit by himself, wasn't by design. He just made things happen. Baker's going to do that, right? He's done it his whole career. He did it in college. They planted a flag through his jersey yesterday in college. He has a certain demeanor and attitude that spreads to his team if he gets going. So you don't want to let him get going. You don't want to let him get confident. The defensive line needs to get there. We have an excellent secondary that you really wouldn't know because these guys got a guard for 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. You could put an average Joe back there with the type of protection and time that some of these quarterbacks are getting against the Saints, and he could probably still find a tight end. So defensive line needs to get there. That's a big key to the game for the defense. Get to them. Don't let Mike Evans have 7 seconds to find an opening in some zone or lose his man because guys started, fumbling and things like that. So defensive key to the game, get to the quarterback, make Baker, think about things twice, and just hope for the best with that. Because like I said, he's a mobile guy. The Saints have always struggled with mobile quarterbacks. He's not exactly going to burn you for 100 yards a game, but he is still someone that will use his feet, and that is something that the Saints have not been very good against. So again, get to the quarterback and make our quarterback comfortable. This is going to be a fun game. It's going to be interesting to see again what Spencer does, but we know what Baker can do, and we don't need him doing that. Like I said, he'll get the team rolling, and yeah, that's not something that we want to see. So again, we are going to jump slightly into the NFC South matchup. Like I said, we have the Atlanta Falcons against the Carolina Panthers. That should be a game that, again, divisional games are always interesting and fun. The Panthers could make a little run. They had that one really good game with Andy Dalton, but as Saints fans know, Andy Dalton was our backup too. He's good for one or two, but he's not going to carry you to wins and everything like that consistently. He was a heck of a quarterback in his heyday, but he's a backup for a reason now, right? They opted to start him over Bryce Young, so it'll be interesting to see how they proceed with that. But again, Atlanta at Carolina, 325. So if you want to tune into a divisional game after the Saints game, that'll be a good one to tune into. For the rest of the schedule, however, the Bears are currently beating the Jaguars, 21-10. Jaguars are going through it at 1-4, but LSU kid over there in Washington is facing the Ravens. That should be a fun game. Two quarterbacks that are very, very, you know, agile and can do a lot of interesting things with the ball. So Commanders and that Ravens. If I'm watching any other game besides the Saints, which I probably won't, that's going to be the one that I'm going to watch there. Again, the afternoon games definitely going to be keeping my eye on that Falcons Panthers game. Probably just score watching, not actually watching it because I don't foresee it being a super interesting game. I think the Falcons are just going to kind of walk their way through that one. But again, we'll see. The Panthers get surprises. Hopefully they do because it would help us a lot. But either way, Falcons and Panthers at 325. And really, you might even have to change the channel because it's on Fox. So you might get the game right after the Saints game. Afternoon game is a bit of a sleeper. Bengals 1-4 against the Giants, who are 2-3. However, if you're an LSU fan, might be want to watch Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, lots of LSU talent in those two games. I'm sure there's more. LSU produces guys all over the field, but those are the big names that we know. So there should be a fun afternoon game with the Falcons and Panthers, and then leading into the Bengals and Giants. Like I said, who knows what kind of game that's going to be? It could be a slugfest. It could be a very boring, 9-3 type game. So no idea how that one's going to go, but it's going to be interesting to see a lot of LSU talent on the field at once. And then jumping into the Monday night game, Bills at Jets. Jets fired their quarterback, had an identical record to the Saints. Do with that what you will. But yeah, so I think Aaron Rodgers is out there. They're trying to figure things out, but they're going against the Bills for the Monday Night Football game. Hopefully nobody else gets fired because Aaron Rodgers isn't playing good football. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, so that's pretty much the NFL slate. Like I said, the big ones to watch for me is the Falcons and Panthers at the 325 afternoon game. And then obviously we just have one Sunday night and one Monday Night Football game. So we're going to hop on FanDuel and take a look at some odds and some bets here. So we're going to be looking at the Saints game now, and then we'll hop into the rest of the NFL slate if you come back a little bit later for the post game show. Make sure you tune in. We'll review bets, and we'll also look at anything that we like in the future games. Probably the 325 script, just because we're not really jumping into those 305 games by the time we get on the post game show. So Saints and the update: Chicago Bears just scored again, 28-10 against Jacksonville. So that game's kind of getting away. So see what I think the Bears should win that one pretty handily. But jumping into the Saints one here. For touchdown scores, which is what we usually go with, AK is at a negative 110 odds or 110 odds, whatever you want to call it. He's the only player on FanDuel right now who isn't plus, so that's pretty interesting. Olave at plus 260 and Shaheed at plus 290. Look, I love both of those guys, but with a rookie quarterback, I don't know how much I love them for anytime touchdown score, which is probably why they're plus 260 and plus 290. Jamal Williams plus 430. Spencer Rattler is plus 550. That's pretty interesting for a quarterback. I understand what he did in college, but this is the NFL. So that'll be interesting to see. What I do like, though, is a safety net, right? So you have Foster Moreau, who scored a couple of touchdowns this year. He's plus 900. again, a tight end is a quarterback's best friend. That's the reason Travis Kelsey and Mahomes work so well. Mahomes is really good at going through his reads, and sometimes Travis is his first read. Sometimes Travis gets this open because he's a good player and he does what he should do on the field. But yeah, I like Foster Moreau a lot. Plus 900. I think I'd actually take that myself if I'm taking something. But other than that, this is going to be an interesting one. I think if you wanted to parlay something crazy, I would probably just go, like I said, Foster Moreau, I like a lot at plus 900. I'm taking that one. And then on the other side of the ball, maybe Godwin, because I think Mike Evans typically struggles against Marshawn Lattimore. So I think I like Godwin a little more. So Chris Godwin and Foster Moreau. On the other flip side of things, Mason Tipton had that drop last week, but the Saints do really like Mason Tipton to the point that they took him over A.T. Perry, who had a couple of years with this offense at this point, or a year or two, whatever it may be. But the Saints like Tipton more, so they may challenge him, right? They may put him out there and give him some more attempts, in the red zone and areas like that, just to see how he responds because he did have that drop. That was a tough catch. Don't get me wrong, but when your quarterback is under distress and puts the ball where Derek Carr put it, you got to catch it, right? You just have to bring that in. That would have definitely shifted the game in a different direction. Instead, it was a drop. So that was pretty unfortunate for Mason. He hasn't had a whole lot of targets, and like I said, they chose him over A.T. Perry. Not the same type of receiver, but they chose him for the reasons they chose him. But I do like Mason Tipton. He's plus 1100 today. So if you're feeling kind of crazy, and you just want to waste some money, throw it on Mason and Foster and see what happens. A little parlay action between the two of those would give you plus 10,000 to 11 odds. For reference, if you're not good at odds, that's $5 to 510 bucks. Again, awful advice. I'm not saying you should take it. I'm just saying two reasons why they may challenge Mason a little bit this week. He's a speedy guy. Yeah, should be interesting. And then again, Foster Moreau, your tight end should be your quarterback's best friend, especially a young quarterback like Spencer that we have right now. And I just like him at the odds that he's at right now. So again, those are two that I like. If you want to be safer, probably Chris Godwin, Alvin Kamara is always a good bet. But you also have Kendre Miller coming back. The Saints might use him some more. I don't know if they'll reward him a lot in the end zone or whatever you want to call it, red zone. But yeah, I don't even see him on here. I might have missed something. Let's see. Let's see if I can find him. Oh, well, that's why. Kendre Miller not suiting up 10 minutes ago. Um, I started this 18 minutes ago. I was just talking good about the guy. I said he's coming back, and here we are. He's not playing. So yeah, that's Kendre Miller in a nutshell. Really unfortunate for the guy. I don't know what's we had the chance to take Tajay Spear as Tulane. We didn't. Here we are. But nonetheless, this has been the Saints pregame show to get you in the know. Make sure you tune in for the postgame show. We'll be back. We'll be talking Saints football, rest of the NFL slate. We'll also talk, recapping bets and things like that. Immediate reaction. We try, we definitely hop into the comments. So if you guys leave some comments during the live, we'll respond. We'll put them on air. We'll see what's going on with that. As well, tune into the Saints Pod. That Saints Pod, it's on our YouTube channel. Just search "Be in the Know." We're everywhere at "Be in the Know" or "The Know" on Facebook and YouTube. You can also go to our website www.theknow.com, which has all of our links, all of our articles. We do pregame, postgame, whatever it may be, and we are posting there pretty consistently now that the seasons are in full effect. So make sure you tune into that. Again, this is the pregame show to get you in the know. Tune in for the post game show, and we will see you later.